Welcome back to the Man United stream. In today's show, we're talking about the good news that we're finally hearing out of Manchester United. We've been waiting for some positive news to come out of Manchester United, but finally we're getting some positive news that Varane and Mason Mount will be back from injury very soon. They start training this week and hopefully they might even feature in the game against Bayern Munich this Wednesday. We're also getting news that Antony's accuser, one of his ex-girlfriends, has actually dropped her case against Antony, which is really good news. Again, some positive news, and hopefully this might mean that the other cases against him might also drop and allow Antony to come back to Manchester United and offer Ten Hag some much needed options. And whilst we're getting news that two players like Varane and Mason Mount will be back from injury, we're also getting the news that possibly Aaron Wan-Bissaka might be out for 2 months with a hamstring injury. That is not good news. We really could not afford to lose any more left and right backs, and then we get the news that Wan-Bissaka has suffered a hamstring injury, which is not good. But looking at the positive side of this, we saw Sergio Reguilón debut for Manchester United against Brighton this weekend, and he looked very good. We were actually surprised that he doesn't get into the Spurs team. We were actually really shocked because he played a really good game. He was very attacking, very supportive, and he was really good defensively. Also, in today's show, we'll look ahead at that huge game against Bayern Munich in the Champions League on Wednesday for Manchester United. But before we go ahead and start the show, please go ahead and hit that like button on the video. And a huge thank you to everyone that's been subscribing to the channel. Without you, the channel would not be where it is. You're showing so much support and love for the channel. And we love this Manchester United community that we're building up. So if you want to be part of the Manchester United community and want to be part of this channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. So let's kick off today's show with some really positive news that we're hearing out of Manchester United, which is Raphael Varane and Mason Mount look set to return for Manchester United very soon from their injuries. So they're recovering, they should be training this week, and hopefully they might even feature in the game against Bayern Munich. And if not Bayern Munich, they will come back by the weekend, which is massive news. I mean, we all saw what Lindelof did in the weekend's game, and that's Jack all. He's not very good, he's not very switched on, he's a bit sluggish, he's a bit slow. Now, I'm not saying Lindelof can't do a job, he can do a job whilst Varane's out, but we all know Varane is different class. At centre-back, Varane is very good. He's just cool, calm, collected, and he gets the job done. His defensive awareness is really high compared to many other defenders out there, and he's just got that experience in there that we need. So Varane returning for Manchester United will be very good news for Ten Hag and Manchester United fans and everybody concerned, because we need him fully back fit, and he's got a good partnership with Martinez. You can see that Martinez and Lindelof don't link up as well as Varane and Martinez. There's a different understanding, they play better together, and Lindelof doesn't fit into that role anymore. And Mason Mount returning is fantastic news for Ten Hag, which gives him further options in middle of that park. Right now he has been playing Eriksen in there, but we all know Eriksen has not got the stamina that we need in there, and Mason Mount can give us that stamina. He can also give us a bit more defensive awareness in that middle of the park, which Mason Mount, I believe, is better defensively than Eriksen. Drop your comments below what you think about these two returning. What do you think? Do you think it'll make a difference to the team? And also, do you think Mason Mount is better than Eriksen in the middle of the park, or do you feel Eriksen's been doing a good job whilst Mason Mount has been injured? Do you think Eriksen should keep his position in the centre midfield? So from the positive news that these two players might be returning, we have got some bad news as well, which is Aaron Wan-Bissaka looks like he's picked up a hamstring injury and could be out for up to 2 months. So that is not good news, because he's actually been playing really well for Manchester United early on in the season. He looked like he'd be our first choice right back going forward this season, and he was playing well, but unfortunately he's picked up that hamstring injury, and that is not good news for Manchester United and Ten Hag. And now they are really going to struggle if someone else gets injured. If Dalot gets injured or Reguilón gets injured, that is really bad news for Manchester United, because they do not have any right back or left back to replace them. And this just illustrates how light the Manchester United squad is. We haven't got many reserve players to come in that could actually do a job, and that's the same problem with the centre-back positions. We've got Martinez and Varane as our first two key players and centre-back players that we will choose, but then as soon as one of those gets injured, we're looking around to see who could replace them. Lindelof and Maguire are not very good centre-backs to be coming in, and this is probably why Manchester United and Ten Hag were looking to bring in a new centre-back like Pavard, like Todibo during this summer transfer window, so they could have someone very good waiting by, and if anyone gets injured they could come in and do the job. So fingers crossed no one else goes and gets an injury for Manchester United, or else we're in deep trouble, and hopefully the players that are injured come back quickly. There's also rumours that we're getting that Kobbie Mainoo may be on his way back to Manchester United from his injury very soon as well. So that's very good news for Manchester United and Ten Hag. Now quickly turning our attention to the case of Antony. He's out there in Brazil fighting off this case of alleged assault by his ex-girlfriends. Well, we've got some good news on that. One of Antony's ex-girlfriends is dropping her case against Antony for assault and will no longer be pursuing the case against him. Now these are just media reports coming out. We are yet to receive full formal confirmation from Antony's ex-girlfriend that she has dropped the case. This is welcome news for Antony and Manchester United, and hopefully Antony can clear his name out there and have these allegations that have been put against him cleared and return to Manchester United as soon as possible. Okay, so now let's turn our attention to this huge Champions League game against Bayern Munich on Wednesday. Yes, we're back in the Champions League, and do you not love these Champions League nights? They're amazing, and Manchester United belong in the Champions League, absolutely, and we love watching these games. Even though, look, we're not in good form, we've just struggled against Brighton, but you know, Champions League games are different to Premier League games. You do not know what's going to happen, and it's up to each team to play differently in Europe than they do in the Premier League. And this game against Bayern Munich on Wednesday gives Ten Hag and his team an opportunity to actually rectify what happened on the weekend, go out there and bounce back from the loss on the weekend and get a really positive result against Bayern Munich. And I'm not going to put it past Manchester United. Manchester United can go out there and do this to Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich are a very good team, and they've obviously improved over the summer by bringing in Harry Kane, but I still think Manchester United can go out there and do a job on Bayern Munich. How Ten Hag sets his team up against Bayern Munich will be really interesting to see. Does he stick to what he did on the weekend, or will he make some changes? I hope Ten Hag does make changes to the team from what he had on the weekend, because we do desperately need to change things up and actually get players in there who actually can run around and do a job for Manchester United. Let us know your thoughts on the game ahead. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think the outcome is going to be? How do you think Manchester United can cope with Bayern Munich's attack? Can they stop them, and can they actually go out there and get a win? Drop your comments below. We love hearing from you, the Manchester United fans. We love hearing from the community about what is going on at the Manchester United and what they think. So drop your comments below. Let us know what you think about everything that we've discussed so far in the show. Now, since Manchester United's loss against Brighton this weekend, Ten Hag was getting criticised a lot by many fans and pundits out there for not setting up his team correctly and not getting his tactics right and not even getting the substitutions right. Now, even I question Ten Hag and what he did on Saturday's game. However, we all have to accept that Ten Hag is human. He is going to be affected by the things that are going on off the field with Sancho, with Antony, and even with the Glazers. So we have to support him during this period. If Ten Hag had no concerns off the pitch and he had all his players available and that was the performance, then there would be serious questions asked about Ten Hag. But right now, you cannot go firing on all cylinders against Ten Hag knowing what he's having to deal with behind the scenes. So we feel that Ten Hag needs to be given a break, and we need to allow him to do his job and do it properly. No one said it was going to be easy to get Manchester United players to change their style of play and get them playing a completely new style of play, a new setup, a new formation. Now they are still getting used to this, and the manager is still pushing this style of play. We've got to see this happen, we've got to see it out, and hopefully we get positive results at the end of it. Now we can really see the positives in this style of play, but the question is, do we have the right personnel to do the job that he's asking them to do? Now Ten Hag is trying to get these players to do certain tasks which they might not be comfortable in doing and they might not be good enough to do. And this is why it's so important to back the manager up in the transfer windows so he could bring in the players that he knows will be able to do the job that he's asking them to do. But there really are some positives. Rasmus Højlund looks like a striker who has got very good movement and very good pace and strength. So he could be a very good striker for Manchester United going forward. And we're really looking forward to seeing him develop and become a huge striker for Manchester United. Please hit that like button on the video. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. You are watching the Man United Streamer channel by the fans for the fans.